What's up, YouTube? This is 82 and 0. So, for those of you who don't know, it looking like the DCEU might be dead. And yes, I know they're intending to reboot it, but the Snyderverse DCEU is dead. Now, they are going to finish out the next few films. I think they said The Flash, they're going to go ahead and release Aquaman. They have one more. Blue Beetle, I think, is part of it. But anyways, Henry Cavill had his last cameo in Black Adam. And it's looking like The Rock passed on a cameo in the Shazam sequel. It's just a mess, okay? For you, any of you who don't know, I used to be a very big DC fan, alright? When I was growing up, I preferred DC over Marvel. I took shit for that. I remember this kid, older kid, would always be like, that's that kid that likes DC more than Marvel. And then people would just talk shit. But I stood by DC. I did. I really liked Batman, Green Lantern, Superman. I do think DC has better hero. It's just Marvel is more competent at writing for their heroes. That's just my opinion, okay? If you disagree, that's fine. But it's DC just can't seem to get their heads out of their asses. And when the MCU started, it was great. Even though I'm not the biggest Marvel fan, they make good movies, in my opinion. Thor was a good movie. Captain America was a good movie. Iron Man was a good movie. And they built up to their finale, so to speak. They took their time with the storytelling. They didn't rush into anything. Over the years, they developed characters. They had, plot points that could affect a hero down the line, Like, you think about Captain America versus Iron Man, when they were fighting, the implications of that even affected them when Thanos was coming to invade Earth. They weren't on speaking terms. They had great continuity, great storytelling. What did DC have? So I remember when the DCU launched. It was after The Dark Knight. Many people don't know this, but The Dark Knight, Christian Bale, he was supposed to be part of what was intended to be a DCEU. They were going to have Christian Bale as Batman. They were going to have Brandon Routh, who played in Superman Returns. They were going to have this big Justice League movie. And it never happened. And prior to that, DC has a long history of fucking up. They fuck up with Batman and Robin, Catwoman, you name it, They had a lot of success until, they launched the Batman Begins, Dark Knight. I shouldn't say they didn't have a lot of success. Superman, the movie, was a great success in the late 70s. Even Batman 89 was a great success. But all their sequels were not as good as the original. And I don't even think Batman 89 is that good of a movie. Now, hold up. I enjoy it. Absolutely. It's part of my childhood. But I'm saying the storytelling, like, for example, what was the Joker's motive other than to steal Batman's girl? But I think DC's best was Batman Begins, The Dark Knight. I'm not even going to talk about Green Lantern. But anyways, they launched the DCEU, okay? Man of Steel comes out. I like it a lot. I really did like the Man of Steel. Is it a perfect movie? No. But we had something going there. And they had, from what I understand, the Snyderverse idea was this big build up for Darkseid. And Darkseid was going to invade Earth, and from what I've read, how it was going to play out is Superman was going to be brainwashed into fighting for Darkseid. And then the heroes on Earth were going to assault Apocalypse, kind of like some Lord of the Rings type shit. I would have been really excited to see the Snyderverse play out. But DC is very incompetent. They just can't keep their actors. They're not. I don't know what it is. They'll have these good concepts, but they can't follow through. Wonder Woman was a great movie. Wonder Woman, the sequel, which was Wonder Woman 84, was horrible. Man of Steel, great movie. But Batman vs. Superman, come on. That's one of my least favorite movies of all time. Because so much potential, but making Batman a serial killer, and they didn't even put much thought into that because, all these scenes where Batman's killing people. Then, when he's getting ready to murder Superman, he realizes Superman is a human with a mother named Martha. So he can't kill him. So you think, Batman would stop killing, right? Nope, he goes right back to murdering people. I didn't like that. I didn't like the story. I didn't like Lex Luthor in the movie. To me, it was a fuck up. Then Justice League, the movie, came out. Yes, I know they had trouble finishing it. And I think the Snyder Cut version was better, absolutely. But I won't talk about Justice League. I think it was a horrible movie. The villain was just so basic. I'm going to invade Earth, typical bad guy from what you would see in a Saturday morning cartoon in the 70s. Not a lot of depth behind the character, and Suicide Squad, the first one, was dog shit. Right around that time, I was getting pretty fed up with DC, man. And they couldn't keep their actors. They couldn't keep Ben Affleck happy, I'm hearing now that Gal Gadot is not going to play Wonder Woman again. Jason Momoa is gone. Henry Cavill's gone. It's like, I'm pretty done with DC. I don't trust them. They had something going for them, but, and this really shows how genius Marvel is and Kevin Feige and all them. Because how do you create, what is there, like 28, 27 MCU movies? How do you create all of that and the shows, right? I didn't even mention the TV shows. A continuity that big, keeping all the actors on, keeping them happy. Well, I shouldn't say they kept all the actors. I think, Edward Norton left. But for the most part, they kept everyone. The MCU did what most franchises would never be able to do. I don't think it will ever be replicated like that. I don't think the DCEU, even though they're going to reboot and start a new continuity, I don't think they'll ever be as good as the MCU. Warner Brothers can't get their head out of their ass. So, to me, this is why I'm done with the DC movies. I don't personally care anymore. Unless there's they're, I don't want to say offshoots. How they have movies that aren't part of the continuity. Like The Batman, for example. Great movie. Joker, which came out in 2019. Not part of the DC continuity. Great movie. It seems to be that when they're not focused on the continuity, they make great movies. But when they're focused on the continuity, they just can't get it right. So, what are your thoughts about the DCEU dying? Do you think that James Gunn's universe is going to fix DC's problems? Or do you think DC is never going to catch up to Marvel? What are your thoughts? Let me know.